Hello and welcome to part 1 of Create Your Own 2D Character for Use in Unreal Engine 4 tutorial series. My name is Paul from Cryonetic, and in today's tutorial we'll be using a program called Inkscape to create our basic 2D character. Now there is a link for Inkscape. I will put it in the description below. If you do not have Inkscape, it is a free program that you can use, so download it and then you can follow along with the tutorial. Now, Inkscape, being a vector-based program, essentially uses 3D geometry on a 2D plane to create high-resolution images. What this allows you to do is, if you draw at any resolution, you can zoom in by holding Control and mouse wheel on your image, and you'll see there's absolutely no pixelation. It also allows you to draw outside of the boundaries and scale your image to whatever size you want, and pixelation is still not visible. That is, as I say, because it uses 3D geometry. It allows you just to draw high resolution images. So with that said, let's get started in drawing our character. So the first thing we want to do is just on the right here, you'll see there's two tabs, the Fill and Stroke tab and the Layers tab. Now both these can be enabled by pushing Shift Control F or Shift Control L respectively. If you do not see them and you struggle with them, there is the option to enable them through the menu here. Under Layer, you'll see it is over there, and under Object there's the Fill and Stroke tool. Now first thing I'm going to do is rename my first layer just to background, just in case I want to use a background for later. It's just for me to keep it's how I generally work when I use other programs, so I'm just going to keep it as is. I'm just going to drag these like that so that I have a bit more space to work here. And then I'm going to click the plus symbol to create a new layer. I'm going to call this head. And then I'm going to use the create 3D boxes option. And I'm just going to draw a 3D box. Now note that it uses the center of the image actually to get the angle or rotation of the box itself. So it all really depends on where you want it to be. So with me, I think roughly about there. And that should be fine. So that's essentially going to be the head of our character. We're going to jump into colors and everything now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the blue color. I'm going to use the stroke paint. And I'm going to use a flat color to give it like a basic drawing line just around the edges. Then with that done, I'm going to click the plus symbol again. I'm going to create the body. And we'll do something like this. And we're just going to scale it. Let's just see what it looks like if we do it like that. I don't think that looks too bad. So we're just going to put that up. We can just quickly try. I'm not too happy with the size. So I just want to drag this in. That unfortunately affects both of them. Let's drag there. There we go. So I'm just going to delete that one, move this one in, and it's got a very scrawny body. We're just going to fill this with the same color, so I'm just going to click over there, and I'm going to do the same for the stroke fill tool. There we go. Let's just move this slightly backwards. And there we go. Essentially we got the side of our character done. And let's jump over to creating the legs. So let's do this. Right leg. And we're going to quickly draw the right leg. Now it depends on what direction the character is facing, so just keep that in mind. There you go. Let's do this. make it slightly shorter. That should be fine. And let's just fill it again with its colors. Here we go. So that's essentially the right leg done. I'm just going to create a new layer and I'm going to call this left leg. And I'm going to click the right leg, Control C, click the left leg layer, Control V, and I'm just going to paste it over there. Now you'll notice that it is overlapping with the body. That's the reason for that is because the layers are above the body. So we can just do this and actually move the body layer all the way up. And let's just move this one in. Now you notice the left leg should be behind the right leg. So let's just move this one down. And there we go. So we got our basic look and everything ready and done. And then we're just going to create arms. Now, to keep this simple, I'm just going to create a new layer, right arm, and I'm going to Control V to paste the leg that we copied earlier. I think the angle might be slightly off, so let's forget about that. Let's select right arm and we're just going to draw from where we want the right arm to be. Actually need to move this layer all the way above, and we're going to scale this out to the way that we want it to look. There we go, I think that looks okay. And once again, we're just going to make sure it's the same color and make sure it fills in the stroke with the black outline. So we're going to create a new layer again, left arm, select that one, Control C and Control V. There we go. So now what we can basically do is let's rotate this a little bit. So if you double click, if you have a selection enabled, not double click immediately, but click through it to cycle, and we could just change the rotation slightly. Now the left arm should be behind the body, so we're going to move that down. It should actually be behind the... no, if we do it like that. Let's do it like this. Move it slightly down. And that looks fine. Alright, so that's essentially our basic character set up and ready to go. Just one more thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the head, and I'm going to create a new one called face, just like right above the head. And then what we can do is we'll just draw like eyes. Let's just fill it with a solid black color. We're not going to use a stroke. There we go. So essentially for this character, the eyes aren't really going to move or do anything. So we're going to keep this on a same layer. So we'll do it like that. There we go. Maybe just scale this slightly smaller so it looks like it's got a bit more depth. And we can draw a mouth. Yep. Nah, just doesn't. That looks okay. Alright, so that's our character done. Our basic 2D character. It might not look like much, but as I said, this isn't a drawing tutorial specifically. What I wanted to show you is just how to separate all the parts of your character specifically so that you can make it easier for when you want to animate. Now you'll see that I have all these parts separated. Normally I would separate each individual eye and everything that's able to move on the face itself. So if you have nose or ears or a mouth and you want to do different lip movements, then you can do that as well. So with that said, what we're going to do now is export all of these parts individually. But first, let's just save our character. And we're going to save it as the SVG. And now you'll have options to export. So let's quickly select the head. And I want to export PNG image. And you have option to export the selection specifically. Now it will give you different sizes over here. So what I want to do is maybe just increase the DPI. Let's make that 300. That should be okay, I believe. It's still going to be fairly high resolution, but you'll notice what we're going to do. Let's make it 600. We'll make the DPI 600. We'll change the name to head.png, and I'm going to export. And then you're going to do this for every single part that you're selecting. So this is going to be the right arm dot PNG. Export. Oops, there's one option I forgot. Hide all except selected. Oops, let's just go over that again. And let me just quickly see what that looks like. Alright, so here you can see this is what the right arm looks like. If we double click it, you see that it's got a transparent background, which is exactly what we want. So now what we're quickly going to do, and I'm just going to time lapse this, we're going to use the same DPI settings and we're just going to export every single piece individually. So once I'm done, you'll see that all the body parts will appear here. Alright, so that's all the individual body parts exported. As I said, the face would normally be done in separate areas depending on what pieces you want to move. If you saw my Ludum Dare video, you'll notice that this is the character that I created. It was a very basic character. The mouth didn't move, but all the other individual parts that I wanted to was able to move. So this is a quick character that we now basically finished setting up the Inkscape part of the tutorial. So the next part of the tutorial is going to be setting this up inside of Blender itself to render 2D animation for our character that we've just created. So stick around for the second part of this tutorial. I thank you all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.